Hello and welcome to The Reset. Tonight we're going to continue our journey on transforming our bodies, mind, and soul. Tonight I got some special guests, some very special guests to me in the set, and that's my husband, my daughter, and also we got the wellness and fitness guru, Mr. Jeremy Gray. In this month, we're continually declaring and decreeing new beginnings, grace, and transformation. And so tonight we're going to focus solely on our bodies and getting them prepared and physically fit so that we can continue to do the work of the kingdom. You know, 1 Timothy 4:8, it talks about being physically trained as being a good thing for our now bodies. And it also talks about being trained for godliness for our future bodies. But in the beginning of that scripture, it tells us that we need to be fit physically to carry out the plan and the destiny that God has for us. See, I know many of you have thought about what can I do to increase my physical ability or to lose weight or to strengthen my body or gain that focus that I need through exercise. And I know that it's been a hard trial. And for me, at least I can speak for myself because personally, my family and I have committed to trying to do things differently. Increasing our exercise and increasing our water intake, and also watching and monitoring what we're eating. Now, it was definitely a struggle until I made my mind up, until I reset my mind and began to say more of the I cans than the I can'ts. So I began to realize and lean on the strength of the Lord and said that, you know, through all things, I know that God got me and that God can help me and I can do this. And so that's where I had to reset my mind to. And also I had to commit to having a trainer. And that's why I invited my trainer, Mr. Gray, on to talk to us about fitness, wellness, and the wholeness of the body, as well as nutrition. And then, you know, most importantly, I want us to remember as he began to talk that our bodies are the temple of the Holy Ghost, which is we're not our own. We're borrowing this body. And if you think about it, everything that we borrow, hopefully, that when we have it in our care, we take extra care and extra effort to make sure that when we return it to the owner, that is in the same condition, if not better. And that's the same way that I feel like we should be committed with our bodies, because our bodies are not our own. This is just a temporal shell that one day we're going to return to the Father. But until that time, we need to sculpt it and take care of it so that we can do all the things that God has called us to do. Now, Mr. Gray has an extensive background, but one of the things that I could truly say about Jeremy is that in everything, every endeavor, every opportunity he has for the community is all about elevating the community, elevating others, putting others before himself, and making sure that everybody has the success that they need to be successful in the community, in the state, as a being. So we appreciate him for that. And without any further ado or delay here, I would like to bring Mr. Gray on. And Mr. Gray, you can talk about how you came up with the vision for elevating your grind.
Oh, thank you for having me.
All right.
Krista, I'm delighted to be a part of Reset. I think that resetting is a great thing. And so if I had to be honest, that elevate your grind came through me resetting, right? And so throughout my life, I've always been like an athlete, right? Athletic, all-state football player, all-area basketball player, two-time state champion in track and field. And so like many young African-American males, I wanted to go to the NFL. I wanted to do all these big things. But sometimes, you know, you go to college and you have a decent career, but then the NFL, it doesn't work for you, right? And so sometimes in life, you can give it everything you have, right?
Right.
And you're still gonna fail. And so through that failure, I kind of came up with elevate your grind, because I had to kind of give myself a pep talk, right? I had to kind of I had to lift my spirits or my morale, because then life wouldn't treat me right. And so through just using that motto and just saying elevate your grind, it became kind of like a segment of like my life, right? Kind of like my mission statement of my life. So originally it wasn't supposed to be a brand, right? It was just something that I was using to motivate my friends and others. And then it kind of clicked, like, elevate your grind, that sounds pretty good. And so I was already doing fitness already. And so I took basically the things I learned through athletics and created a brand, right? Not a brand around fitness, a brand around elevating yourself, right? Because to elevate is just which is the point until what something rises up, right? And so we have to kind of elevate our grind and take ourselves to a new level, right? And I only understood, I was like athletic, I was doing all these things, but only until the mind, body, and soul work on one accord, you don't really have true purpose. And that's one of the things that Elevate Your Grind taught me, is that, yeah, you can be good in the physical aspect of yourself, but you have to be great mentally, physically, emotionally, and spiritually. You got to have all that elevating. And that's what elevation is about, right? It's about basically understanding that in life, you're going to get kicked down, right? You're going to fall down 7 times, you got to get back up 8, right? And
That's
so
true.
it's just that message of getting back up and elevating.
All right. Hey, that's good. And then, I know you didn't want it to start off being a brand, but you got to think about it. It took off with flight, because every other person that you see in Opelika, especially, they are rocking the EYG brand. I mean, from the little bitty kids to the older adults, they are supporting Elevating Your Grind. So the vision that you gave the community, gave the city, everybody bought into the vision, and they're embracing it, and they're pushing it for as their own personal, their own personal vision. Because when you talk about elevating your grind and actually getting back up after you've been knocked down, that's an amazing thing, because a lot of people, they will stay there and they won't try to take, the hard times and transform them into being greater things. And so, that's really positive. And that's one of the things we do want to educate our younger generation with, is that even when you get knocked down, you have a choice. You can stay there, or you can get up and do something with the opportunities that you have at hand. Because I tell you, to take nothing and transform it into something great like you have, is if everybody takes that mindset and start implementing those type of things into their lives, then it will transform not only the city, but the nation as a whole. So as far as, I know you said it didn't start off with just the fitness, and we know that you were a part of the Wolf Pack. I saw a clip that you put up today. Well, you were doing your thing out there now. Yeah. I saw you knocking them down.
EYG the light, and EYG the brand. Just elevate your grind. Exclusive young G's, put the city on our back. Grinding through the mud, climb up out the strong. Elevated status on done. EYG the.
And then I remember, I think you and I had a conversation yesterday. I remember when you were getting ready to go to the Canadian League, and it was so much hope in that Jeremy Gray is going to be the next top name. And actually, Jeremy Gray is the next top name. It's just not on that level. So God, he had a whole nother plan for Jeremy Gray, which is so amazing, because sometimes his ways are not our ways, but in the end, there is still elevation in your life. Yeah, that's an awesome thing. So Jeremy, what about nutrition? Talk to us about nutrition. As far as, like, I know you don't necessarily focus on nutrition as much as helping us to monitor what we eat. But if you will, just talk more about nutrition, some basic exercises, changes that we can do physically to transform.
Just like with anything, right? You have to have water intake. And so with water, you want to intake about half your body weight in ounces, right? So just say if you weigh 100 pounds, right? you want to make sure that you take in at least 50 ounces of water per day. And you have to have, you know, your produce, your vegetables, your fruits. Now, where it gets a little tricky is that you need things like dairy and meat, right? But when you kind of thinking about a body, right? Think about a body like a car, right? You want to make sure that you put good oil in it. You want to make sure it's checked up. With the body, the more things that you put in your body that's heavy and compound, right? It's harder for the body to digest, right? Okay. And so that's my simplest way of putting it. So when you eat stuff like meat and dairy, kind of think about that process of chewing and swallowing and that process of how it flows through the body, right? It just takes a little more time for you to digest it and process the food and just kind of get it through your body. But when you eat like fruits and vegetables and drink water, you can actually feel it just putting the energy into your body, right? You can feel the energy that it's providing for your body. And so the simplest way that I kind of can put that is that foods that you eat, are you eating the foods that are going to allow you to live, or are you eating the foods that are going to shorten your lifespan? And so I don't really tell people what to eat, right? Because I practice more of a vegan diet, right? Where I only eat plant-based foods. That's my diet of choice, right? But I with any diet, you should take in more water, more fruits and vegetables than you take in anything else. And as long as you kind of know that, you'll be on the right track, because really the true way to lose weight or just to burn fat in general, you have to kind of burn more calories than you take in. And so that's why people count calories, because if I'm taking in 1,200 calories, right, but I'm burning 1,500 calories a day, by just the math, right, I'm losing weight. And so that's really just kind of like a simple way of putting it, just understanding that if you just think about everything that you pick up, right, you say, is this what I'm eating helping me or hurting me? You're going to make the right decision because you made a conscious decision to think about it, right? You just didn't go through the drive-through, order number one, and eat it, right? You actually said, is this piece of fry good for me? Is this burger good for me? And if it's not, at least you know that you're holding yourself accountable, right? So it's one thing to not to know. It's another thing to know and do anyway. And so that's what I would kind of really give people, because there's a lot of different diets you can do. And a lot of times diets are kind of like fads. There are things, they're trendy and things of that nature. But the concept is to put real, whole, healthy foods in your body that will allow your body to operate at the optimal level. And so as far as fitness, right? Most people think of fitness as I have to lose weight, right? The first thing you have to do, the first priority in fitness is to feel good about yourself, right? So if I'm working out every day, I'm putting in the work, you just automatically, you're doing something productive. When you look in the mirror, you're just gonna feel better about yourself. It's really not the piece of it, the whole premises of it is not to lose weight. It's to feel good about yourself. And once the mind triggers and say, man, I feel good about myself, I look good today, I'm smart, I'm intelligent, all those things, then the weight starts to come off, because really a lot of times weight is food, but then it's also stress, right? And so once you start to understand that, and you start to get the mental aspect of it right, the way I think, because they say that thoughts project actions, right? And so if you have a cloudy negative mind, you're gonna have a cloudy negative body, right? Even if you could be the most fit person ever, right? But if you're looking into the mirror and you just don't like who you see, it really doesn't matter how you look to other people. And so we have to understand that the first thing is, how do you feel, right? How do I feel every day? It's really my mental health I have to check first. How do I feel, right? Am I depressed? Am I stressed out? What can I do to put myself in a better mood, right? Then the exercise come along with it, because I see exercise as a way to push the mind in the body, right? People run marathons and they run, but not, they ran because they're trying to lose weight and they're trying to be healthy. But running is a mental aspect. It's like a marathon. It's a mental marathon, right? How far can I walk? How far can I push myself before I give up? Well, that translates to life, right? Because in life, we're going to do a lot of tough things in life, right? And it's going to take everything that we have, and we have to give everything we have mentally and physically and spiritually to get through it. And so I just think that exercise pretty much prepares you for the battle, right? It has other byproducts that it has, like, losing weight, losing inches and all those things. But it really helps you to endure, right? Because when you're tired, when you're hot, when you're sweaty, and you can keep pushing and going through, it translates in life. It's the same thing. It works. It has to work, right? Whatever works for one, it has to work for the other. And so that's how I kind of see it, as a threefold thing, right? The mind, body, and the soul. And when I think about soul, I think about connecting to your purpose, right? Not necessarily in the religious way, right? Because everybody has a different religion. Not everybody, have the same belief, but more in a purpose-driven aspect. Who am I at the core of me, right? Who am I at the core, right? What is my purpose? What is my legacy that I'm going to leave on this earth? And that's where that soul portion comes from. And so together, all of those things create what you call balance. And that's, at the end of the day, that's what we're trying to get. We're trying to get balance in life. Just trying to be balanced, easy, not too far up in life, not too far down in life, just a steady marathon to the end.
All right. Thomas and I think when we started off, now Thomas, he's a little bit far advanced than I am. he's capable of enduring a little longer than I am. So Thomas, could you talk about some of your favorite exercises that you've experienced while we've been training with Jeremy?
Yes, I kind of like them all because it brings me back to when I played football in high school. But the ones that I like the best are the ropes, because it works on your whole body. The way Jeremy has us doing them, really works on your whole body. And, the way he does it, when he starts from 100 and we go all the way down, if it doesn't work on you, I tell you, you don't need to be doing no exercise, because
Taylor, what about you, Taylor? What's some of your favorite exercises when you want to do them? What's your favorite exercise?
You gotta say it so you can hear.
Jumping jacks.
You like the jumping jacks? And see, that's the great thing about being able to work out with the family too, because everybody has their favorite exercise and everybody has their own level of commitment, and we're able to encourage each other. Because I tell you, there's been many days that I did not want to go. And even though sometimes my husband is not able to go, he'd be like, well, you need to go today. You need to make sure you go today. And if we're not able to go, he'll say, let's go walk, or we'll go for a walk, or him and Taylor go for a walk. And Taylor has solicited one of our friends, and now she started into bike riding. But that I can say from the beginning, and Thomas, you chime in, from the beginning, I feel much better from working out with the exercises. And I can definitely feel the ability to endure longer. As far as there were times before working out that I would get short of breath or winded, but now I'm able to do things without that short of breathness and that extra, that tension from not being able to walk for long distances or even participate in strenuous activities. So that's another thing that I think another point is that too, mentally, the exercise, the whole part of getting physically fit, mentally, it's like a release, because regardless of what has taken place prior to getting out there on the track or working out and doing exercises, you feel better because it's almost like a release. So Jeremy, how often should people work out?
It's recommended that you should work out 3 to 5 times a day. And 3 to 5 times is really a good number of workouts where you can keep the body going. Because when you talk about like cardiovascular system, right, you kind of have to run or walk on an everyday basis, right, to kind of keep that up. Because if you just say if you walk all 1 week and you didn't do it the next week, well, you come back the following week, you're out of breath, right? And so you have to kind of keep that cardio up. As far as like just, whether it's body weight exercises, the ropes or weightlifting, you want to do that 3 to 5 times a day, just to keep that up. And so it's really recommended just to do about 3 to 5 times. You really want to kind of take a break, maybe 1 or 2 days, and you can sometimes do a kind of active, they call it active resting, when you kind of like just do a walk. Because walking is more like being healthy, right? It's a difference between being healthy and being fit, right? Healthy is more like walking and just make sure you're moving the central things you need, the motor function, right? But fitness is when you do basically high to mid intensity level of workouts where you're actually burning calories, you're sweating, and you're kind of like grinding it out. And so that's the kind of the difference. Most people think that if you just walk that you're fit, but you're really just practicing a healthy lifestyle.
Okay. So if I'm just getting started, and I know people out there that are listening and they're trying to figure out what they need to do to get started, what are some suggested exercises to get started to actually build up that strength, that endurance to be able to do those more strenuous exercises and activities that will build muscle and continue to develop the body? What are some basic things we can do?
So just for the entry level, right, I would start off walking at first, because you just want to go from healthy to fit, right? You want to just start off walking at first. Then you may do a little bit of jogging to get your cardiovascular, right? You're just trying to basically get some kind of rhythm going. And then from there, you start doing more body stuff, right? And so a lot of times people try to go in the weight room, they try to do all these difficult exercises in the gym, but you have to master the body first before you actually master weight. So doing things like squat, lunges, push-up, jumping jacks, sit-ups, things that you can just pretty much do in your house. Those are the core things that you need to work on. And like y'all talked about the pyramid. The pyramid is a great tool, right? Because you start from 100 and you move down increments of 10, increments of 10 to 10, and then you're done, right? And so that is a good way to get high repetition in about 35 minutes, right? So you don't have to work out a whole hour. Just 35 minutes will get you in a place from being healthy to being fit.
Okay. Now, I know when you first started off talking, you said that you weren't it was not your intention just to do a brand with EYG. But as far as your apparel and your services as far as a trainer, where can the people go to purchase merchandise and sign up for training sessions?
So I have a website. It's elevateyourgrind.com. I also have an Instagram and a Facebook page, and also I have a Twitter. So I have all the social media pages. So you can either contact me via social media or via a website, and I'll get back to you, because I pretty much control my social media handle. So that's just a good way to get in contact with me. And you can always shoot me an email. It's elevateyourgrind@gmail.com. So it's all kind of, as long as you have the Elevate Your Grind, you'll find me. You can actually put it in a Google search and it'll come up. So it'll be very easy. Just remember, Elevate Your Grind, and you'll be able to find it.
All right. Well, look, I've enjoyed talking to you this evening, and I think that as far as me and my family goes, we appreciate the commitment that you have to us, and the accountability, because it makes working out easier for me, and I can speak on my family's behalf, to have Jeremy Gray's text come through and say, hey, I'm gonna see you in a few minutes, right? And that makes sure that we get it going, and we get there and we're on time, and I appreciate that. But look, for our viewers out there, I really encourage you to seek God about his will for your life, and especially with exercise and fitness. And I encourage you to get to moving, increase your water intake, go and get your physicals, figure out what you need to do to be successful in this transformation of your body. Because as Jeremy said, to be able to exercise and to seek God for your weight loss, it's not just about the outcome of losing weight, but it's about the whole body, the mind, the body, and the soul. Together, all three of those units, they make up everything we need to be whole in the Lord and for the kingdom and as an individual. Because one of the things that he pointed out that's still ringing in my mind is about purpose. Sometimes we don't know what our purpose is, but if we can just focus on being okay with self, just loving ourselves enough that we'll desire to be healthy, and then work on that fitness, work on that endurance, okay? And you know, whatever you do, whatever you decide to do, just do it so that it brings glory to God. You know, I've always got to recognize that God is the head of our lives, and we're yielded to him. And I pray that through this broadcast, something has been said and something has been shared that will change the lives of all the viewers. And Jeremy and Thomas and Taylor, you know, we can't end without offering an opportunity for those who don't know Christ to be able to come to Christ. And if you want to get that personal relationship, you know, as we say every week, all you got to do is believe, confess, and receive. And then if you want to grow with us, contact us via Messenger or at theresetmin@gmail.com or any of our platforms, and we'll be willing to work with you, we'll be willing to talk with you, and we'll be willing to pray with you. Now look, as the month goes along, we're going to take this thing to a whole nother level. We're going to continue to build upon the information that we receive week by week. And one of the things is that every week is growing. And in the end, hopefully everybody will be a different body, a different person. Because honestly, we can do nothing through our own strength. But we learned that last week with Zechariah. It was not by power nor by might, but it was by the will of God, right? So look, next week we got Evangelist Kim Coleman coming on, and she's going to minister to us about transformation. And then the very next week, we got Dr. Wendy Coleman coming on, and she's going to close out the month. So as with everything, we can do all things through Christ who strengthens us. So lean not on your own understanding, lean not on your own power, your own resources. Know that the resources are available to you. And just like tonight, we've extended another resource to you through Elevating Your Grind with MrEYG. And go ahead and reach out to him through the different platforms, and let's begin to change our whole body, mind, and soul. Look, we love you. Be blessed. Until next time, we'll see you on The Reset. Have a great week.
Keep moving.